this particular segment right here is WhatsApp, okay? Before we went on the break, I told you we're going to meet our guest for the show, all right? So I'll just read his profile briefly, all right? Water-Isreal MagicPen is a highly dedicated and passionate screenplay writer, actor, filmmaker, and entrepreneur. He is almost the youngest filmmakers in this country. That's Nigeria. Justice is single. He was born and brought up in Lagos, Nigeria. Some of his movies are The Cross and the Moon, Devil's Republic, Beelzebub Code, and many more. Yes. So please let's welcome Water-Isreal, aka MagicPen, right?
Yeah.
How you doing? Good morning.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yes.
I'm very happy. I'm very elated.
We are happy to see you too.
Here in your studio.
Oh, thank you
so much.
You're welcome. All right. So how did you find your way? I hope everything went well.
Well, this is Lagos. This is Lagos. You know, nothing appears to be on the fast lane as such. You know, traffic and all that. You know. But we thank God for everything. I'm happy to be here. Yeah. This happens to be my first destination for the day, and it's a great pleasure to be here.
And it's going to be a great day for you.
Thank you very much. I receive it. Amen.
So MagicPen, tell us, that name is quite interesting. Tell us how you came about the name MagicPen.
MagicPen.
Are you a magician?
I am not. Okay. I am not. In fact, by you know, religion-wise, I am a Christian.
Okay.
And then I'm someone who so much believes in God.
Okay.
Now, talking about what inspired that name MagicPen, I can say that it's not something that I came up intentionally with. It's something that is inspired by, permit me to say, what I don't know.
Wow.
You understand, you know. But then I discovered that that name appears to be synonymous with who I am, what I do, how I do what I do. You know, I think it all started in, you know, some years back when I was in JSS 3.
Okay. I
started, you know, trying my skills, my writing skills when I was in JSS 3. And then I discovered that at a point, everything started getting very easy for me when it comes to writing. When I pick up my pen on the paper, it's just as if the thing is moving by itself, on itself. And then I started to say, like sometimes it appears as if my brain waves is not even meeting up with what my hands were scripting. And then I was like, how is it coming about? As I then, my understanding about God, my understanding about spirituality was not very, very strong. Okay. You know, I was still very young, you know. There are many things about nature, about life that I wasn't aware of, you know. Then I was like, this whole thing is just like magic. Even then, I discovered that this is not something that looks too ordinary. It's not an everyday thing. It's not an everyday achievement. It's not an everyday characteristic. So how come? That's where the first word magic came about. Yeah. And I said, this whole thing is looking like magic. Wow. And then I look at my materials for writing then. You know, when I was in JSS 3, although there was a phone, these phones, cellular phones, they were available then, but then not really reachable to people like us. You know, I was born in Ajepako, you understand, in Ajegule Papa. Wow. You understand? So ghetto things, before you go get that kind of thing, you know now. You say, don't try.
Yeah, exactly.
You go know who your pale be. So I wasn't born into that kind of, you know, silver spoon environment. But then I was using my pen to write. And then I like, okay, magic. And then the pen. Maybe the pen appears to be the exact substance that receives the inspiration from wherever and start to write even faster than my brainwave, and then that's how that name MagicPen came about. I can say that that name MagicPen is even older than me as an actor, because I started writing before I started acting.
Wow. I see.
So that's what inspired that name MagicPen, and I don't know how long it will stay, but then I think for now it has come to stay, but I don't know. I don't know whether that thing will.
All right.
Yes, MagicPen, the name brings a lot of things to mind. It shows your artistic dexterity. It shows the kind of hard work you do put into your writing as well. Now, I would say before you set yourself to tasking in the multitasking as regards writing,
Okay, so
what is your main motivation? What motivates you while you sit and you just start channeling your mind, even if it's movies, you're scripting? What's that source of motivation that makes you bring about success with your MagicPen?
I will say God Almighty. You know why I paused is because it appears as if anytime you ask a person question, what's your reason for success, they say God. It now appears too like overused,
Yes.
and all that, like
Too cliche.
too cliched, and so that's why I was like pause. But then the point is, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He has done it for one person, the person acknowledges him, he does it for another person. It is only a grateful heart that we see the reason or the need to keep acknowledging God no matter how many times he's acknowledged.
True.
So there is nothing like there is too much acknowledgement for the Almighty One.
Never.
So I'm saying this for you to know that I'm not saying God because I'm just trying to follow the trend. I'm saying God because it is genuinely God. You know, there is what we call muse when it comes to literature, art. The source, the origin, that which inspires your inspiration, that which triggers it. And I can tell you that God is my muse. And then, you know, God, he uses things, elemental things sometimes to work. It's not witchcraft. God uses things to work. I remember in the Bible, when Jesus Christ wanted to heal somebody, he had the power to say, receive sight, but he didn't do that immediately. What he did was, he spat on the earth, mixed it with sand, and then applied it on the man's eyes, which means there may be rooms for acknowledging some elements God has put in place.
Yeah.
So talking about that, apart from God being my inspiration, there are other things that God has created through which I gain high level inspiration. Water and wind. Those two things, I don't joke with them. Because I see that God put certain powers in them to work with my own nature. So when you talk about, okay, what actually motivates, what actually brings back, I say God, he talks to me how I want it, and he sends some elemental things he has created, water, wind, to do it. Like I can look into a bottle of water like this, and then I will start to think. I will start to get messages. It can be that I am maybe under a tree, cool breeze, and I start to get inspired. So for me, that is how it works. And if you now look at everything, it all goes to Almighty God. So if you ask me in one word, I would say God is my source, is my muse, is my everything.
Oh wow, that's good. Now I'm taking experts to that. When you say God is your muse, and of course I've gotten to understand, we have gotten to understand that water and air or wind are necessary prerequisites for you to gain motivation. Now you are an how do I put it, accomplished screenwriter and script writer as well. What would you say, all right, is the main characteristic, or what would you say are basic characteristics of a very sound writer? Because a lot of people come in, I see some scripts, you know, I've been opportune to look at some scripts for some movies, and you have these scripts given to some artists that when they look at it, they turn it down, not because they are not fit to play the role, but because they think it's substandard. But I've looked at your resume and I've seen your work. I know that you know what you say you're doing. What is, or I want to know what is that main characteristic, or what are the basic characteristics of a very successful script writer?
Okay, thank you very much. One thing I always tell my trainees is that when it comes to writing, you must be psychologically sound. Psychological soundness is a prerequisite. Now, apart from psychological soundness, you have to be sociologically sound. You need to understand how things work in that particular civilization you are pitching that story. Why am I saying civilization? Sometimes I remember scripting things having to do with, let's say, the Roman Empire. That's an ancient civilization.
Yes.
There are things, even words you say now, the way you express yourselves now, that you can't use when scripting such
True.
a story. So that's where I'm talking of the sociological aspect, where that soundness has to be there. Also, you also need to understand the need for you to be able to carry your viewers along. Now, why do many people turn down? Why, like those artists you are talking of that turn down certain script? I can tell you that one of the major reasons is because most writers, they just write to fill screen time. They just write. Okay, what's the story about? Love. They just script something on love, no twists. And you know that a good script must be very, very educating. It must be something that will pass knowledge, sapience, experience. Something that will make you think. Any movie you watch that at the end, you don't think, you don't ask questions, you've not watched the movie. And the movie is, can I call it the actual frame, the skeleton of every movie, on which you cannot place flesh and put the aesthetics for you to say this is a handsome person or a beautiful person. The script is the real engine. So, looking at it from that angle, what I do is that I see the need for psychological understanding. I don't need to stay with you for 2-3 days for me to know who you are. It's a gift, and I believe all writers should have that gift. If you are proud, but you are trying to play cool, I'm easy to sense it. It's a skill. Why? Because as a writer, you should be able to know even something that the person you are knowing about does not know. That you can put letters together to create words, put words together to create expression or sentence does not make a writer, sir. What makes you a writer is understanding humanity, understanding nature, understanding plants, understanding animals, understanding how things go, understanding how humans can just shift in their paradigm of thought, understanding all those things. So when you now get it, you find out that you cannot script something that will never be boring. You will know how the average human brainwave goes. When you overheat something that it become boring or trite. Now, when you talk of Nigerian movies, some people just like saying, I don't like watching it, but they go and watch the Western movies. They have the technology. And if you are very, very, very sound in your movie criticisms and analysis, you find out that even Hollywood is beginning to lose stories somehow. They need stories. Now they are recycling, except you don't understand what I'm saying. They are recycling now. So what they are now using to sell their market is what? High-level technology, CGIs. They use those things, they put it in, you don't know that you are still eating the same meal. But Nigeria, we have stories that if we keep telling it for the next 200 years, it won't finish and it will be new every day.
Okay. All right, so we'll still come back to you because I'm really enjoying
Thank you,
the Cross and the Moon, produced by MagicPen. So MagicPen, when I was watching that movie, thank God, make it not be nights to watch that kind of movie because it was very scary. Can you please tell me the inspiration behind that movie?
In fact, you know, the truth of the matter is that's like what my big brother here asked you at the time. You know, talking about writing. If, as a writer, if you keep writing for writing's sake, you lose it. But if you keep writing to correct societal ills, to cite some things, some abnormalities in society, if you write with that in mind, then you will touch lives and you will go far. Now, why am I saying this? The Cross and the Moon is centered on, you know, the insecurity and insurgency that is rampant in Africa as a continent. Africa is suffering. No matter how much African leaders try to make it look so cool, and the point is, Africa is passing through a very, very critical phase in her life, security-wise. So that is what inspired that work.
Okay.
Insecurity, terrorism, kidnapping, and I think it's something that, though it's a series, it's not. It's a series.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Is it on YouTube?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So viewers have to follow step by step.
Okay.
And then they will see what's.
All right, quick one. Tell us how you got into filmmaking, and then the challenges you faced, and how were you able to overcome them?
Wow. Okay, ma'am. I started filmmaking as an offshoot of writing books.
Okay.
I started as a writer, and my vision then, because I have a Wole Soyinka as my role model.
Role model. Oh,
I
that's
love
good.
the man. I love the man. Gabriel Okara, Chinua Achebe, Ato Fugad, the South African writer. Now, the thing about Wole Soyinka is that he writes with unique style. There is this Africanism attached to his storytelling, and then those things actually inspire me. I say, okay, I want to also write so that WAEC, NECU, some examination boards will be using my book
To set.
for examinations. That happens to be the original motivation, the original goal. Then later I discovered that Nigerians, they don't like reading. If you write 100 books, even the people around you may not even read up to 2 from cover to cover. But they don't joke with anything having to do with audiovisual films.
Yeah.
They don't joke with it. And if you want to pass a message that is targeted at correcting societal ills, or anything that has to correct people's mindset, you need to do something that is easy to digest, to eat and digest, and which is what filmmaking. That's what we are now, delved into filmmaking. And at the beginning, it wasn't easy, man. Along with that, I've been teaching in secondary schools, and then my first work using the camera happens to be a school film, a school drama that we just did, and then I said, okay, let me get a cameraman to come and cover, and that's how filmmaking started. I discovered that people can't read, but they love to watch movies, and then we started there. And so far, fast forward to this moment, I say the whole effort has been a testimony of God's presence. I can say that. Then talking about the challenges, the major challenges we face, especially those of us that are still coming up without any help and all that, is finance.
Yeah, that's the challenge, yeah?
Is finance. You hear that the federal government has given grants for so and so, so billion and all that. But then at the end of everything, you find out that the thing, it appears like you get where they reach, it can't stop. They reach certain places. Okay. So for us, we don't have any help. And what we do is that we sought for it. I taught in secondary school. I will work from morning till 4 o'clock, I close. And then I will now start doing Okada work. I did Okada.
Wow.
I just stopped Okada, I think 2 years ago. I stopped riding Okada. When I finish at 4 p.m., 4:30, I don't carry Okada, I don't enter road. I will ride Okada till 11. I will now enter, sleep at 11:30, 12. If it is the day I need to write, I'll be sleeping at 1 a.m., 2. Immediately it is 6, I will wake up and run to the school I was teaching. And the money I was making from Okada from school, I don't use it to buy clothes. That's how I'll be gathering it to do. Then, I used to go and hire a cameraman. Those ones, you know what they call me person, the bad person pieces. Igba, you go be here. But this vision must come to realization. I will not pack all the money I will give. I will pack all the money I will give. And then at the point, I said, it's okay. Since the vision has come to say, I need to start getting some things myself. Now like that, I ride Okada. I go join cooperative. and all that.
Wow.
And then gradually, we are not where we are yet. Too. Anybody that has help should give to us. We don't have.
No problem. All right. Okay.
So we are just pushing on. But then the point is, we are not where we were. We are
Okay.
not.
All right. With MagicPen, please. It's the way you speak, and I like it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tell us about Isielu, the movie.
Well, Isielu is centered on the exploitation that goes on in Africa, especially when the people do not know what they have. If you don't know what you have as a person, the person that knows the value of what
that
you
discovers
have
it,
will come and take it.
Yeah.
I think that is synonymous with what we know about Nigeria and petroleum.
Very synonymous.
You understand? And also certain things that are still going on in Nigeria. Some lootings, some overseas lootings. It appears as if we don't know what we have. Even this same looting is going on when it comes to human resources. When you don't know the human resources you have, those that know the value of these things will take them to their own place.
Exactly.
To develop. So initially there is uranium and they don't know that they have uranium. But then a corrupt senior public officer, servant, now knows this and then decides to send some people to go there, some security men in the name of securing the village from them to protect them from insurgents. And then in the guise of that, they were now stealing the uranium at night. And people did not know. And when somebody finally discovered that the person was kidnapped, was killed, and then they were still posing as protectors of the people. I think if you dissect that very well, you understand where it applies in Africa.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, I'm going to ask you this question. Out of all your movies, which one would you say you hold closest to your heart and why?
I think that question is like asking out of all your children. Which one do you love
The most.
But there should be one now.
You know it's you.
So not the children now.
You know it's you.
So not the children. Like there should be one that would say, "Oh, this particular movie."
Sometimes it might feel like children, especially if you do not have one, because his movies sometimes.
He's single.
Single doesn't mean he doesn't have.
I have children. No. And then, in fact, my children are up to 50 or so.
If it's that lady that said biology children, please, biological children. Do you have one?
Not yet. God is bringing them soon.
May no go born spiritual. The spiritual way they do. All right.
Yes.
I think. Okay, let me just, if I am being put on the spot, I'll go for the latest one, which is The Cross and the Moon.
Okay, why?
Cross and the Moon. That series, you get as CB. But I won't be the one to say it. Those who are following will be able to say it. Because in New Client Pictures, there's one vision we have, and that is to bring out movies that are making sense. And when you now look at it, you find out that this one is talking about societal issue, this one is talking about societal issue. Now the question is, which one you won't pick? But might go with that one because 9 the hot now.
Okay.
That's The Cross
and the Moon. All right. The use of hard drugs is prevalent in this industry. Must an artist buy high before he performs optimally? That is drug abuse.
Yes. Must they be high before they?
It's not good. It's not. It's not. I don't abuse drugs, and I do what I do. So anybody that is, if you're a musician or you're an actor and you believe that your drug is what triggers your excellence in performance, I think you need to go for re-evaluation. Your inspiration, the person's inspiration has problem.
Okay, so what about sexual harassment?
Plenty.
Thank you
that
very
one
much.
plenty.
Okay.
Actor and directors, producers that will condition an actress.
Shake me, shake me. Shake me, shake me. Thank you very much.
Now the condition that say, if you no let come to rehearsal room, you are not to be cast. And but I believe that God is not asleep. And you see how some people who perpetrate these crimes, you see how they end. Along the way, there will just be one kind of big chasm between them and the actual goal. They won't be able to get there. You know, but if you are talking about whether it exists, as we are talking now, it's going on in different locations in Nigeria.
Okay, that's for female. And they're also saying, you know, when we talk about it, sexual harassment, the men will just come out and say, even the men are always there. Is it true?
Yes, yes, but the percentage is like 2%.
I like you. Thank you very much.
Because most producers are men.
Most
Even when a woman is producing, he hands it over to a man that makes the decisions, like directors. And those ones are the ones who sell, you know, trade, exchange sex for roles and all that. And if you are watching this program and you are a victim of that, I will just advise you, don't give your body for roles. If you give your body to get a role, you will not succeed in the career. It's as simple as that.
All right, that's a good one. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, sir.
We want you to give your social media handles quickly.
Okay. I remain Justice Israel MagicPen on Facebook, Justice Israel MagicPen on Instagram, Justice Israel MagicPen. Then as a director and all that, New Client Pictures on Facebook, New Client Pictures on YouTube, New Client Pictures on TikTok and all that.
So YouTube is where we can watch all your
For
movies,
now, yes,
your works
all
and everything.
movies on New Client Pictures, NEW, then space CLIME, then space Pictures, PICTURES. You get it on these platforms. Loads of movies. There are more as they come.
Okay, there are a lot of people that wants to be a script writer like you, or a producer. What advice do you have for them?
Hard work, connection to God. And when I say connection, it's not when you connect through your pastor, personal connection with God. Hard work. You read very well, you study very well. You cannot give what you don't have. That's just what I was just saying. Anybody that is not ready to work at NSC should just stay off script writing. It's not for babies. Producing, they can give you money. If you don't have good managerial skills,
Exactly.
you will blow another person's money, and then they will be chasing the person up and down. I give her money to produce film, you know, produce film for me. All those things are some of the problems we are seeing. And unfortunately, some of these money bags that are invested in industry, they usually meet the wrong people. Permit me to say that when a person is not honest, he's a wrong man. He's a wrong person. And then there are those who are honestly doing these things. And we pray that they will meet their helper. If you're out there watching this program, don't give up. Just be honest, you won't lose. That's just the truth.
All right, thank you very much. That was MagicPen. Thank you very, very much.